We are a weekly podcast, Soul of a Gamer.
Hey, I'm smart this time. I did it this time.
Let's not go that far, okay?
I won't fuck it up again.
I love pressing that button. That was my favorite button. Yes.
It's definitely.
This game gets really fucking weird.
Yeah, so you do acid and then you go into the hamster shit.
And this week is
Night Trap.
Night Trap.
They're right behind you. Night Trap. 10-year-old birthday party. Next scene, kill the kid.
You got to kill the kid. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, car is coming. Throw your body into the car and die. All I could do every time I was playing Ethan was just would start walking around and go, Jason!
Oh, God.
It's just... I've
fun.
never down on this podcast before. And you're telling me that there's a countdown right now?
The countdown's already done, or already rolling at the most moment, actually.
That's horseshit.
I mean, it is a little horseshit, but it is what's happening. So everyone's just
All
listening
right.
to this. Are we going to get to the show, or are we just going to...
No. Hi, everyone. I'm Scott,
And I am Steven.
and we are Soul of a Gamer podcast. Every week, we usually play a game to tell you about it, but we're on a month sabbatical.
Yes, we are. We're just giving you our controversial takes instead.
Yes, so this week's take is going to be, what are we doing this week? Our least favorite and most favorite characters from video games?
Yes, and then also
And
our
our-
favorite gaming moments.
Yeah, that's right, the moments. The moments.
Yes.
And we decided to do like a top 4 for our moments, but we only picked one for our least favorite and
Favorite and least favorite characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
I
well,
put some
why don't you
stipulations
start
on
this-
mine, so...
Okay. Why don't you start it off?
So I wanted to make sure it was like favorite main characters is what I was focusing on.
Yeah, and
Mm.
I debated doing side characters too, but I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to focus main. And I tried my best not to do characters where you make the choices.
Yes, that was a
But
big point for
I
me too.
Ended up doing one that you make a lot of the choices, but I think either way he comes across as a good guy. So
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people saying like a bunch of like big things like Shepard and Mass Effect, like Steve from Minecraft, like Link,
and I'm
all these
like,
characters.
yeah,
I was
like who the fuck is gonna say? And that's my first thought. It's like, well, Commander Shepard's kind of cool, but then like your command, you make every single
Yes.
choice. He has
Yes.
no neutral choices. He's him, and everything he does is you.
Yeah, and if you choose all the things that you enjoy, then of course you enjoy that character. It's not like
Yeah.
the character was made and you just enjoy it as is.
Yeah.
Like you're
Now, if you said
defining it.
Commander Anderson, is it Commander Anderson? Captain Anderson? I think it was Captain Anderson. Like, he's a cool character. He's a side
Mhm.
character, but he has a lot of volume
Yes.
compared to Shepard does, I feel like.
Yeah, you're talking about from Halo.
No, from Mass Effect.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about like the main guy Keith David
he-
plays?
Yeah, he was the original captain of the Normandy,
Yeah.
and then Shepard took over. Or you could say Joker, because Joker's probably the best character in that entire franchise.
Fair. But yeah, so with all that said, I went with the character I always go back to. I love it in every rendition, whether it's a movie, TV show, cartoons, video games. Lara Croft. I think she's just one of the most phenomenal characters. I love a good bow and arrow. She's like my favorite of the archaeology kind of people. I love her way
How
more than
dare
Indiana
you.
Jones. I love her more than Nathan Drake.
How
I know that's
dare
blasphemy.
you.
This is my hot take. Hey, this is about hot takes. This is a hot take.
I hated Nathan Drake, so that's fine.
That's also a hot take.
That
But
guy
I agree.
blew so hard, it wasn't even funny.
I do want to go more than the franchise because I know it gets better as it goes.
Yeah, maybe. But like, yes, the first game doesn't always sell us, but a lot of the times it sells us enough to play the second game.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
that
like
first game did not sell me at all.
all the Tomb Raiders, whether they're bad or good, like I enjoy playing them.
Sorry, I wasn't talking about Tomb Raider. I was talking about
No, I know. Yeah, Uncharted.
Uncharted. Yeah, I was going to say
Yes.
Drake's Fortune. No, that's not what it's called.
That was the first one. Drake's
It is
Fortune.
the first one, but it's such a dumb name that
I know they're not good
Halo-
with their names. It's okay.
Halo had it right. Just like Halo,
Yes.
Halo 2, Halo 3. Very
I mean,
Yeah, very simple names.
I like the Tomb Raider names, especially like the recent trilogy. Shadow
Tomb
of the
Raider.
Tomb Raider,
1.
and
Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb
2.
Raider.
Tomb Raider 2.2.
I mean, they're pretty basic, but they're still cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think basic is better. I think the more
Yeah.
simple, the better the game. But I'll agree. I think Lara Croft is one of those. She's just always been one of those people that people love, even like the old Lara Croft with her fucking polygon boobs. Like, yeah, that's a lot. And it's funny because that's the reason a lot of gamers played that fucking game. Was
Yes,
because of the
it's so
polygon
ridiculous.
boobs. That's so great. Guys are so fucking creepy no matter what we do.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
At times, it really comes out.
All right, I'm gonna go with my most favorite guy. This guy, seriously, like, he is make your own choices, but like no matter what, he always seems like the good guy, and the voice actor's amazing for him, and he's just
Okay.
awesome. Like, we're gonna talk about Lee Everett.
Lee Everett.
Do you remember Lee Everett?
Was that Walking Dead?
Yep, the lead character in the first season of the Walking Dead Telltale game series.
That's fair. That's a good.
God,
that's
he
a
was
good-
he was the coolest character. And even when he was mad, he's like, I want you to get out of here, please. It's just like he was always the coolest. He always had the most. And then he gets bitten by a zombie and still
Yeah.
says, I need to go rescue Clementine, even though I'm currently fucking dying.
Yeah.
Chops off his own hand. You get the choice to do that. And you know that he would. Like, that's the thing. He could read his character really well, and you know he would chop off his own fucking hand.
No, that's fair. And it's hard in a game like that because like a lot of the choices he has to make, they're awful either way.
Yeah.
And so you can't really say like he's a better person in one scenario over the other because
Yeah.
there's a lot of gray area in that game with the
Yeah,
decisions
and-
you make.
Like, no matter what decision you make, you like him. That's the big thing.
Mhm.
Like, he is such a fucking leader in that game. Like, everything about that character was awesome. I love that character so much. He's the reason that game was sold to me, pretty much.
Oh, that's
And
fair.
again, that ending, he gets bit. He could say, okay, I'm just going to sit here and die slowly, and it's fine. And even as he's dying, he's telling Clementine, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Just shoot me in the head. It's going to be fine.
Seriously.
Don't let me hurt you. Like, that's the kind of guy he was. God, he was so fucking
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Like that's such a great part of the game, and just he's such a powerful performance, honestly. And that like
Yeah.
really it was like one of the best Telltale games for as far as like grabbing emotion and being tied to a TV series was kind of
Yeah.
crazy too.
Yeah,
Or
and
a
I
comic
mean, and
series.
it's hard to do that a lot of the times because, when you have a TV series that's popular, you kind of want it to follow the main story of the TV series if you make a game from it. And to go in a completely separate direction altogether,
Yeah.
it's wild that they were able to do that and do it so successfully.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing that I really enjoy about a lot of like really mainstream media. Like when they're able to branch out from what they normally do, but still do it really well. Like I wish a lot of more times we see more of the world. Like I was saying that with the Star Wars series and stuff like that. Like there's so many planets, but a lot of times we see like the first or the main like 9, especially
Yeah.
like the first 6 movies.
Well, and
There's only like so many planets you go
might
on.
as well
I'm
at
like,
that point have one planet and all these places on that single planet because you don't even explore the planet really. You just go to like
exactly.
one tiny area on the planet. Like it's just
You just see one city or one
yeah.
building.
It's like we're in I don't even remember Alderaan and we're in the capital city and that's it.
Yep.
That's where we stop.
Yep.
We're not going anywhere else. We go anywhere else, fuck you.
Yeah, and I mean, just even like a lot of times, like I was also getting really tired when in the new trilogy they brought in old characters where it was tied to the original trilogy characters. Like everyone had to be tied to characters. Like you couldn't just branch out. This out of all the billions of peoples and millions of planets and stuff, you can't show us a story not about the Skywalkers or
Yeah,
not about
yeah.
Palpatines. Like
Seriously, and
anything else.
It's like, again, it's like having it on one single planet, and so you're more limited in the choices. But even a planet's fucking huge, so there's millions of things that could happen. Then a galaxy is a billion times bigger than a fucking planet, maybe like 20 trillion times bigger. Like, why the
Yeah.
fuck would you focus on one guy so hard?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So I really think like that was the best like thing The Walking Dead could have done, and to make such a strong character outside of the show, that everyone fell in love with, especially because everyone fell in love with both him and Clementine.
Yeah, and Clementine, she's awesome, and then she gets into this dark spiral really fast in the future games.
I mean, that's fair. It happens.
Yeah,
Zombie
yeah,
apocalypses are hard to deal with.
It should happen. It should. It just gets sad because you're like, you used to be such a sweet little girl.
What happened to that little
I
girl?
feel like every parent of a teenager right now.
Why are you rebelling so hard?
All right, what's your least favorite character now of all time?
So I had to go with, again, least favorite playable characters, and I was really torn between two, but now I think I'm gonna just stick with the one. It's probably the most controversial, but I'm gonna say a two-parter because both of them are the main characters of this game, Abby and Ellie from The Last of Us 2.
Yeah,
I love parts of these characters, but I can't love someone who makes the wrong decision at every turn on a constant basis, always and unforgivingly so.
I'm sorry, Steven. Were you the perfect fucking guy growing up? You made all the right decisions?
No, I'm not saying you don't make all the right decisions, but I'm saying there's a point where you're losing everything in your entire life and you realize the thing you're obsessing about needs to stop.
Yeah,
and you
I
keep
agree.
going, and I don't get when people do that.
Well, it's like they purposely wrote her to be a shitty person. Like, my theory for that game is they wrote Ellie to be shitty, and they wrote this other character to be shitty, and their original thought, well, let's kill them both in the end. That way everybody's happy. They're both shitty characters. No one's going to like them. But then there's probably going to be backlash from killing Ellie because she was such a upstanding character in the first game.
Yeah.
So my new theory is they're going to release a third game, and they're probably going to kill both in that game.
There's a third game coming out, and I
And
was really
I
hoping
bet
it
Ellie's
has nothing to do with them, but I feel like
I bet
it's going
Ellie's
to.
not going to be the main character. I bet she's just going to be
I
a
hope
side
so.
thing. And I bet she's going to die.
But yeah, it's probably so. And honestly, like, because like I really loved the first game so much, and the first game, especially like with Joel, I know he did some horrible things, but it was one of those things where it's like he's kind of doing it for the right reasons, and he might be right, but he might be wrong. There's not a full right answer. I know he did all horrible, shitty things at the end of that game, but especially lying to her about it for so long. And I know like they had a huge falling out when they like talked about it and everything, but there's just something about that where even he like gave up the anger and he wanted to just settle down with her. And after seeing Joel go through all that, Ellie doing all the same things, but then pushing further and then losing her wife, who honestly was the best character in the entire game. And it just crushed me, but I was so happy for Dina to walk out and just leave her. Like, I was so happy that they broke up at the end. And that's something
like
I
you're
shouldn't
watching
feel.
a sitcom.
It was like, I'm like, fuck, I can't say that I enjoyed this character anymore. And it sucks because like I even have like Last of Us tattoo stuff on me and I love it so much, but like they kind of made me hate the character I really like loved in the first one, and still
Well,
like
Steven,
love the story.
this is a very good transition into my least favorite character.
Yes,
We're going to talk a little bit about fucking Joel for a minute.
Oh shit! Okay.
This guy sucks so hard. He just like you really, and Steven, guys, Steven was so mad at me when I first played Last of Us because I'm like, Joel is just such a piece of shit all the fuck. No matter what he says, he's just an asshole. Like there's like very few shining moments where he's like, I'm gonna care about you like my daughter, and then like those are fleeting by the time he just decides I'm gonna shoot this guy in the head instead.
Yeah,
and it's just like he makes all the wrong decisions all the time in the entire fucking game. Like, they have a chance at a cure, and he's like, we're going to leave her in the fucking wilds. And then the lady's like, yeah, we're not going to fucking do that. I'm going to die, and it's going to be fine. She was a better character. She should have been the main character of that fucking game, not Joel. If they literally had Joel die at that moment, and then have the lady who died, his, like, partner, girlfriend.
Marlena? Or
yeah,
Marlene?
Something like that. Instead, that would have been perfect, because she was cool.
She was really cool.
Yeah. And Joel was just such a piece of shit. And then by the end of the game, the end is the only saving grace for Joel, and then he fucks it. They wrote him so poorly. Like, I feel so bad for people who like him because that ending just fucks him so hard.
Well, especially because, like, You really do. Like, you kind of get this, like, endearing character, and you kind of are siding with him because of what he's gone through and what you've
Yeah.
seen him go through. That first 15 minutes of the game really, like, sets you up to be like, you should feel bad for him.
Yeah, yeah.
As much as you cried at this first 16 minutes, which most people who played it did, myself
did not.
included.
Actually, remember I made a song out of the.
Yes.
I had "You're Making My Dreams Come True" as the explosion at the gas station's happening and all that stuff.
Oh, because that's when you were doing your, like, little dog thing on the projector, right?
No.
Wasn't it?
I was just
Or
fucking
wasn't-
around when I was playing the game.
Oh, okay.
I started playing the song because it just seemed to fit. Like, it's kind of like morbidly fitting into this moment where things are blowing up and people are dying and getting attacked, and then she gets shot. At the moment she gets shot, you're making my dreams come true. Ooh,
Jesus.
ooh, ooh, ooh. It's just like,
Oh my god.
and you almost consider that a good thing because the odds of her making it into the
Yeah.
future are super low, and it's more horrific to
Especially
get
with
like
the
eaten
broken leg.
alive, right? Like to me, it's like there is no. It almost is preferred she died at that moment because future moments would have been more terrible to die at.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of to be said with that, and a lot of things that a lot of people think about but don't always think about. Sometimes just getting shot in the head is better than being slowly eaten by a zombie.
Yeah,
But I mean, you can never know what's going to happen in the future, and you're not going to plan for any of these things to happen. So it's kind of always a gamble. But
guys, seriously, if you haven't played this game, at the end of the game, they have a chance to cure the thing, and like later in the second game, they find out it wouldn't have cured shit. But you don't know that in the first fucking game. You do not know this. And
and it's even, I think, not even fully confirmed that it wouldn't have worked. It's just like highly doubtable.
yeah, it's highly doubtable, but like he just decides, okay, well, even though this could save the human race, fuck the human race. We need this little girl alive. She's going to do great things in the second game, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Foreshadowing. And then he kills this very important doctor who is very smart and working on a cure. And then he decimates a hospital of people and kills all these nurses too. Very smart, very important for the cure. And then he takes Ellie and she's like, did something happen? And he completely just fucking lies to her.
Yeah,
He
it
could
didn't
have
work.
at that moment.
There was other kids there that were cured.
Yeah, like at that moment he could have said like no,
I couldn't do it.
I didn't want you to die.
Mm-hmm.
And it could have redeemed him, but then he fucking lies still. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And it's that's where I wanted a choice where we make the choice whether to tell the truth or lie. But I understand why they didn't do that because PlayStation is more of a cinematic experience, less of a choice experience.
For sure.
So,
yeah, I mean,
Joel sucks.
It was a character that I have absolutely loved and loved and loved. I mean, I have his signature on a poster behind me.
Well, yeah, because the voice actor is fucking cool as shit.
He's an amazing person.
But unfortunately, the
awesome.
character he voiced is not.
He just it's one of those things. Like, I love parts of his character so much, but I do have to admit that his faults are high. Like, he did a lot of horrible bad things, and they even talk about like he used to be way worse in the past. Like, there's a gap in time in the first game, and
he's basically a murderer.
he was off. Yeah, he was like the worst kind of murderer out there.
And like even in the beginning of the game, he's not with his baby mama. Mm-hmm. So clearly something happened there, and I have a strong suspicion it was his fault. I have a strong suspicion that he did something fucked up. Not confirmed, but I'm going to suspect it.
I don't want to throw that kind of shade, but I mean, it's possible.
Something tells me he's a wife beater too. A lot of speculation, but yeah, those are our favorite and least favorite characters. So let's just move right along here.
That's hilarious.
Right. I didn't expect you to go Ellie, but it makes sense. People fucking hate her in the second game. It is
my honorable mention was Scott Shelby from Heavy Rain, just because I hate playing as the killer, like knowing you're the killer. But you're trying to figure out, and like it's like, no, I don't know. Yeah. So ridiculous. All right, well, let's get on to our favorite gaming moments, though.
Alive, I think. I hope that guy never got cast for anything again.
That was so bad.
All right, favorite moments in games.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these. Let me go first here.
Go for
I'm
it.
not gonna. These aren't in any specific order.
Same.
I couldn't. They're cool, but they're not like this is number one. They're all equally cool to me.
Fair.
I'm gonna start with the Brood Mother.
Rude mother.
So Dragon Age, you are in
Interesting.
the underground tunnels of like the ancient dwarven roads, the deep roads, and there's a point where it starts getting really fucking creepy. And Dragon Age does get creepy, but this is the creepiest thing they've ever done. So
All right.
you're in this tunnel and you start hearing this voice telling a nursery rhyme overhead, like it's in a loudspeaker, but there's clearly no loudspeakers going on.
Creepy.
And everyone is
Okay.
creepier and creepier and creepier. Then you meet this character who's like, the Darkspawn were basically raping us the entire time we were here. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay.
What?
And they're like, and they were feeding us like other Darkspawn, and they took this other girl, and I don't know what happened to her, but I don't think she's the same anymore. And she like
Jesus.
this girl already looks fucked, right?
Okay.
And then you move on to the next section, and the Brood Mother is just this like giant heap. It looks like kind of like the Flood in Halo, the big guys,
Dude, okay. Yeah.
right? It's just this giant heap, and it's got these like, for some reason the tits are out in it too. I think they just did that because I think fantasy gets off on naked people a lot.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. A lot of the grotesque monsters always have their tits, and they're like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
make
just
tits
like-
gross, so you feel
Like
bad
Mass
about
Effect
looking at
3
tits.
when they had the Asari become the weird things. So she's disgusting looking, and she used to be a dwarf, but she's like double the size of you now, and all she's used
Yeah.
for is producing Darkspawn.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, like, and it's just like the creepiest moment in the game, but it's so fucking, it's everlasting to me because I'll forget
Okay.
about it, and then I'll be like, oh my god, what was that game I played where that fucking creepy ass thing happened? Like, and I'll think about it every now and again and be like, oh my god, that was awful. I hated that moment in the game.
Yeah.
That sucked so hard.
Damn. Okay, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy moment, but it's everlasting. I think they did such a good job just making that a very, it's not a scary game, but that moment feels like a horror game.
Okay. That's a
What
good
you
one.
got?
That's a good one. So I got one, and it might be one that I know we both feel really strongly about this one. So this one obviously is talked about a lot, but I tried picking games we don't talk about a lot. So
Yeah.
This is the "Would you kindly" moment in Bioshock. I mean,
Dude, what is wrong with us today?
what do you mean?
You'll see.
Oh, okay. This is just one of the moments that I will never forget about. It's probably
it's
the
like- it's a
best twist in
giant
all of
fucking
video gaming.
reveal.
Yes, I mean, what the fuck? That moment when you get forced with the golf club to do that and you realize how much you've been played the entire game, it just
Yeah.
made the entire game better. It was one of those moments where the game itself was like, it's hard, it's creepy, it's weird controls sometimes, the gunplay is not
yep.
the greatest. Big daddies are a bitch.
Big daddies are a bitch, and there's weird powers and shit you have to learn.
Yes.
Kind of utilize in a good way, and it's not always easy to utilize those powers.
But you get to this moment and it just, you think back, it's one of those moments where like in a movie where the character like all of a sudden just remembers everything, and you see a flash flood of like scenes from the movie where you're just like, holy shit, this entire time, every time you've been saying that one, oh my god, you've been playing, what the
Did they do the flashback sequence? I don't remember.
I don't think they did.
Yeah, I think you just realize, right? Because you're like,
Yeah, like it just like, it was one of the things that
It
like it occurred
clicked.
in my head and I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
no way. They fucking
Yeah.
said that the entire game.
Like, I can't believe this.
And
That's
then,
just
like,
what it,
And it's funny too, because like in a game, you are in complete control of the character, but your navigation is structured by the game's environment.
yes.
So, but in this case, they're saying the game's environment maybe wasn't the thing that was forcing you to do all these things. Maybe it was this guy saying, "Would you
Yes.
kindly?" Like, which is a crazy. Like, it really does fuck with your head a little bit. Where you're like, maybe I could have opened that door, but I just couldn't because my brain wouldn't allow me to like open it.
Yes. Well, and like it makes everything a mindfuck of that game because you're just sitting here like, what? Wait, so none of this. So you've been controlling me this entire time. Every task I've ever been given wasn't me deciding to do it. It was you playing it. And the way they did that with the game and the story was so well written because you figured it out like when the character figured it out.
Yeah.
So it blew both of your minds at the same
Well, like,
time.
you would have there was no, if anyone said like, oh, I do the first time,
No.
you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. But
Yeah,
like,
because
there's
I'm
no
one
way
of those
because
people who
it's
usually gets these things right and guesses these things ahead of time. There is no way I would have ever
there is
guessed
no
this.
way because like the randomness of you falling from the plane and then discovering rapture and all this shit, like it just did not seem like you were ever coerced into doing anything. But like in games, we're used to doing things that are kind of out of the ordinary for normal characters anyway.
Well,
So
it's not like something that you knew this character beforehand, so you knew that he wouldn't start out a sentence by "Would you kindly?"
yeah,
Like you're just like, "Oh yeah, this is an old timey game. He probably
Yeah.
would say "Would you kindly?" Like,
would you
it's
kindly go help my fucking wife? And you're just like,
exactly.
okay, well, I mean, you said it, so I guess I'll go do it. You're
Yeah,
being very
sure.
sarcastic and shitty right now, but whatever.
All right,
All
what
right.
you got?
Oh my god. So mine is going to be actually the descent into Rapture from Bioshock.
That is a great moment.
Yeah, honestly, like this is one of my favorite things because they have a great fucking monologue in there where they're like the communist would say it's not yours, it's the people's, the blah blah blah, and like so on and so forth. It's an awesome monologue, and while that monologue is happening, it's just like you get the glimpse of this underwater city, and it's fucking amazing. Like the environment
It
and
is.
the whale that crosses right beneath you, and like the fish all around and everything. It looks amazing. It's fucking sweet as shit, guys. Like if this was released today, that would look so realistic.
Dude, I mean, I don't think I've even played the remaster versions of these games yet. I still
I
need
don't
to go
think
back
there
and do
is.
that.
The remaster
But-
is never going to be as good as remaking the game in today's more like standard
True.
graphics because they just increased the frame rate pretty much and
Well, that's
say now you
fair.
can
That's
play
fair.
it fair on a really good console. You
That's
know?
fair. But I would like an actual like true remake with today's
Yeah.
graphics because
That would be
these
fucking
games
sweet.
that moment is like, especially at the time, was beautiful. Like
It was.
it's on par with me for like the giraffe moment in The Last of Us as far as just like pure beauty that
Yeah,
comes out of
yeah.
nowhere. Yeah.
And that is actually one of the best moments in The Last of Us is when they exit the fucking.
Yes.
It was like a subway station, right?
Yeah, it
I
was
don't
the
think
subway
they
and
were
the sewers and
kind of like
yeah.
part sewer, and then they get into the little underground tunnel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they end up in I think Salt Lake City is where they were at.
Yeah, I think they ended up. It was one of the like Salt Lake City, Wyoming, or Colorado. They went to like all three of those at one point.
Yeah, but it's like it's beautiful coming out of that and seeing those fucking zoo animals just hanging out and doing shit.
Mhm.
Like,
No, it really was. But yeah, going down to Rapture, like that is for especially for going underwater, the best diving moment I've ever seen.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, what you got? What's your next one?
So for me, I actually am gonna go with a game we kind of had widely varying loves for, and it was Immortality and finding the hidden clips. And if we're just finding the hidden clips in general,
the first,
that first
one,
moment
that first one is insane.
is really insane. It's such a thing that catches you so off guard. You get immediately, especially for me, I got compelled to just find all of them. I was like, there's a whole hidden story in this too that I have to figure out. Like,
This is many as
this
you
is
want.
insane. And this is like my kind of a dream for a video game because of how much of a movie lover I am. And I just honestly think this is incredible actors in every way. This is just amazing tier level
Yeah.
of just like acting for a video game. It's insane. But like, especially if I had to pick one clip, it would be the Candy song. That song blew my mind when I first saw it, but
Yeah.
just mainly just finding the clips in general.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, everyone that was really creepy was hard to watch because you're like, oh,
Either that or like just like the random like stabbings out of nowhere or just like the random like creepy shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always like, tell them to stop looking at the camera. This is a porno. No one wants to realize.
Yeah, this is it's got a lot of nudity, so be careful of that if you're wondering.
Yeah.
Nudity
All
and
right,
blood.
well, I'm going to jump at you with a very famous moment in the game. A moment that infuriated gamers everywhere, but was
Ooh.
a fucking sweet-ass thing to say at the end of a game.
Okay. I'm waiting.
All right. It's a moment. Picture in space. You're on a
Okay.
ship. And someone contacts you from Earth and says, Master Chief, what the hell are you doing on that Covenant ship? And he just says, Sir, finishing this fight. It's just like one of the coolest moments in all of video game. And that's just the fucking end of the game. Sir, finishing this fight. And that's it. That's all you get. And you're like, what? No. And you're amazed because that's a fucking line. That is a fucking line to say at the end of the game.
It really is. Especially
And
the delivery.
you're pissed. Because you're like, wait, is that it? I don't get to see what happens next? Are you fucking kidding me? God damn, fuck you, Halo.
How long do I have to wait till the next game comes out? You better be producing it already. I don't want to have to wait another 5 years.
I think it took 4 years.
3, yeah.
Halo 2 came out in either 2003 or 4, and Halo 3 came out in 2007.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, God, you had to wait so fucking, it's either 4 or 3 years. I mean, that is a long time. Like, it doesn't sound like
Especially
a long time, guys, but imagine in 2004, I was 13. And in 2007, I am 16. Like, and the difference between 13 and 16 is fucking crazy.
Or even a better thing, imagine having to wait 3 years for your favorite TV show ending cliffhanger or anime cliffhanger.
Yeah, well, it's like Arcane. Like,
sucks.
Arcane had a fucking crazy cliffhanger in the first season, and they didn't come out with the second season for like 3 years.
Yeah, I haven't even got to the second season yet because I'm watching so much other shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to get to it, but I have to like almost do a recap of season 1 because it's been so long.
Yep. I might rewatch it at some point, but just the insanity of that scene and how fucking hardcore it is. Like, that is just like the coolest line you could ever fucking say at the end of a game. I'm just gonna say it. It was the coolest line anyone's ever
That's
fucking
fair,
said.
That's fair. I think that does go up there that'd be a fun list of like best ending
one-liners.
lines or like one-liners that heroes say. But yeah, so I have a Halo moment as one of my favorite moments as well.
Nice.
This is in Halo 1, and this is the first time you come up on the Flood, especially walking into that room, seeing like everyone like dead. You get to kind of watch that clip of the guy's helmet cam, and that was one of the creepiest things at the time. Like, goddamn, I was not expecting that level of creepiness in a first-person shooter. Especially because it was just like not scary at all before that in the slightest.
And I think that's where you fall in love with Sergeant Johnson for the first time.
Yes.
And then like you turn to him, he's like that 6 Flood just touching him. He's like, get the hell off me. It's one of the most badass moments a person can do.
But oh my god, that moment, it cemented it in me because it was so creepy out of nowhere, but I loved it so much. And the way that they did that, it just wasn't matched again in the Halo series for me as far as like the creepiness. Like Gravemind was kind of creepy in ways, but
a little bit.
Like just that first introduction to the Flood was so strong that like that's the moment I remember at the Flood. No matter how awesome the Flood got or grotesque like the visuals got, like that first moment was so impactful.
Yeah, for sure. I like it. I like the idea of that. All right, my last one.
All right.
We're going to talk about the reveal of Darth Revan.
Ooh,
and if you guys hear a jingle in the background, sorry, the dog is playing with a jingle toy now and now barking. But there is like all throughout the game, you get these like tiny hints that normally the Jedi don't take someone as old as you, but we'll make a special case. Like in Bastila saying, like, I tend to think that the Masters were testing me by sending me along with you, and your training only taking a few months when it takes like 10, 15 years for Jedi to learn the shit. Like there's all these hints, but you don't really think about them when you first play the game. Like, you really don't put the pieces together that you might, like, you just think, oh, I must be super cool or something. I must be the most special Jedi in the world. I'm fucking sweet. I'm the awesomest. And they do focus a lot on the relationship between Darth Revan and Darth Malak, but you only think it's like backstory because there is a lot happening in this game that's not expressed, except by just little things that happen with the backstory.
Yeah, true.
So that moment when that reveal happens, when it turns out that you're the guy and you backflash to all these moments where they gave you these tiny hints, you're just like, holy shit, I'm fucking Darth Revan.
They just total recall me?
Yeah, they did. They did total recall me. But it's such a cool moment in a game. It's such a cool reveal. Like, it's the M. Night Shyamalan ding-dong version of one of his shit movies, but they do it, like a lot of games do it a lot better than he did. Gets
That only would have been better if when you remember that you're Dark Revan going, "Welcome to the party, Victor."
Like it would have been so cool, but that would have been too on the nose for Total Recall. I think.
Oh, definitely.
They would have been like.
I just
we
watched that,
can't
so
do
it
this.
just the similarities just crossed so hard in
I
my
love
brain
Total.
right then.
Total Recall is one of my favorite movies.
That's so good.
Three-breasted, whatever she was, the fucking Mars, the mutant things, like
Yep,
the weird.
dude.
The coolest part about that whole fucking movie is the alien technology, and they don't get into it at all.
Yes.
Way
and
to
then
go,
the
guys.
terraforming is so ridiculous and how fast it works, but then like also like the being out of oxygen scenes are so wild, and
They are.
You guys thought Roger Rabbit scene was pretty crazy at the end. You guys should watch this.
Yeah. But yeah, that was mine. That's
Okay.
my last one. What do you got for your last one?
All right, so this one I had to think about quite a bit, and Jen actually helped me pick this one out because she's like, "This is one you've talked about more than any other one, probably." And
yeah,
I
once
don't
we
know
start
why
thinking about this stuff, guys, I will tell you, like, it's hard. We could play a game and be like, "Fuck, I forgot this happened in here."
Yes. No, I mean last year alone, I completed I think 65 games.
Yeah,
So that's a lot. I mean,
It
it's
is.
not like an insane amount, but it's quite a bit, more than one a week. So yeah, memory gets foggy, but this is a game that I've played all the way through 8 times. This is Dark Souls 3. And this
What?
moment is the Dance of the Borealis, or however it's called.
does God, what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? The David Bowie.
does.
Does David Bowie come in and say, "Dance, baby, dance, 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 dance"?
Dude, I actually just watched
that
Labyrinth
magic
last night.
about me.
Yeah, it was last night for the first time. So it's funny that you bring that up.
You remind me of a baby. What baby? Baby with the power.
With the power. All
All right, so explain this
All right.
dance to me. The dance of Borealis.
Dancer of Borealis. Something like that.
Dancer of
I can't
Borealis.
remember that
Like
off
the
top of my
Aurora
head right now.
Borealis.
Should I just look this shit up? I guess I should just look this shit up.
Oh, you
It's
should
just-
have had it probably ready beforehand, I think.
No, I did. Dancer of the Boreal Valley. Wow, that's terrible.
Boreal Valley. That makes more
Boreal
sense.
Valley. That's way
Okay.
more better.
So what
Okay.
game is this from? Dark Souls?
This is Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 3.
Okay, so this moment this is a moment you can fight this boss earlier than you're supposed to
Yeah.
if you attack this poor old lady in a chair.
Well, you know what? I was just about to say, what, do you attack an old person? Of course.
Yes.
Of course, that's how you
In the
find
church.
it. You attack this poor old woman who's
In the
there
church.
to give thanks to her great life
Who's
of
not
elderly...
hostile? She'll talk to you.
She's like, "Hey, young whippersnapper, do you want
actually,
a lemon cookie?
She gives you an item to get to the next area where
Is
you're
it a
supposed
lemon
to go.
cookie?"
But if you attack her, you can
Okay.
spawn this boss fight a little early. But this boss fight, this boss like comes down. This boss is like a very like elegant boss in the Dark Souls world. In a world full of grotesque monsters and crazy fighters, this is a very elongated, like curtain-like, ethereal curtain-like wisps and cloaks around this character. Really sleek armor and just really windy, like snaky body movements, and like comes down from the ceiling, and it's very it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful moment, or one of the most beautiful moments in this game, besides seeing some of the city reveals. And this boss comes down there, and this boss kicks your fucking ass. And there's one specific reason why everyone who comes to this boss fight, no matter when you come to it, whether you came into it early or when you're supposed to, has trouble with this boss. And it's for one specific reason they designed specifically into the coding of the game. All the bosses in this game are in 4/4 time. And every one of their moves and every one of their combos is in a 4/4 scale. So if you're good with rhythm and you're good with movement and memorizing like the tails of things, you know exactly like what beat to perfectly dodge and to perfectly hit whenever you need to. It's a really cool mechanic, and the more you play it, the more you learn it. This boss fight is the only boss fight in the entire game that's in 3/4 time. And because of that, it fucks up all of your movements, because everything is offbeat just a slight bit, because you're so ingrained already at this point, because you're at least 2 bosses in, but upwards of like 4 or 5 bosses in, I think, before you get to this moment.
I just want you
So-
to know that 3-4 is one of the easiest like alternative beats to deal
Or
with.
it's one of the other way around. It's either 3-4 for the whole theme and then choose 4-4, or the other way. I can't remember.
Either way, I mean, it's like the two most common
I didn't say it was
time
hard,
signatures.
but it's different, and it's really cool mechanic that they actually like.
I thought you were going to
changed
say
that
something
one
fucking
specific
crazy.
fight.
I was like,
But this boss fight, it's really cool. They use like fire powers. They use like dual moments. She's also dancing the entire time she's fighting you.
And that's
so
when
like,
David Bowie
everything's
comes in.
very like flowy and like just like chaotic, but it just kills you. She does so much damage. It's insane.
yeah, because
Or-
literally, David Bowie's there. Just dance. Whoa, 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 just dance.
Dance magic.
No, that's a different David Bowie song. Just dance.
No, I know. I was saying one of the Dance Magic song from
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah. I just picked songs that had dance in the title.
That's fair. I did a little. I don't remember if that one's called that, but
I think it's Dance Magic Dance. I think that's what that
Yeah.
song's called.
Okay.
I think. I don't know for sure. But
That was my guess. So,
probably.
yeah.
Maybe it's just a
Probably.
labyrinth theme. Who fucking knows? There's
But
not
yeah,
the
I
word
mean,
dance
just-
in it.
I think that's one of the coolest and most elegant boss fights in that entire series. I think the boss is really cool, and I like that it's very different, and it was designed and coded to be different than all the other bosses just to fuck with you.
Yeah.
And I
Alright.
love that kind of level of detail with devs like just trying to fuck with us in unique ways, because that's a good way to like change up the boss fight in a way that would only like really connect with how much you're paying attention to it.
All right. I mean, I can't picture it because I haven't played the Dark Souls games, but I will say there's only one boss that I've seen in the Dark Souls games, and I think it's in the second one. It's the
Okay.
dragon.
There's dragons in a lot of. There's a
I
lot
know,
of
but it's
dragons
like
in
the
these
the
games.
secret. It's like the night guy who betrayed a king,
Oh, okay.
and like
think I
a
might
dragon.
know
He's
who you're
riding a
talking about.
dragon or something, or he becomes a dragon. One or the other,
Okay.
and it's like
There's
in
a
this
lot of-
white landscape.
Is it in the clouds?
Possibly, I don't remember.
Because if you're thinking what you're thinking is the nameless
I'm-
king,
Yeah, I think it's the
and that's
Nameless
in Dark
King.
Souls 3. It's in the DLC of Dark Souls 3.
Oh, maybe it's not. I don't remember. It's a secret boss. I know
yeah,
that.
that is a secret boss.
Oh, maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe that's the one. But I watched a friend of ours do it, and I was like, "That's fucking sweet." And you're just like, and there's all this backstory about how he betrayed everyone or something, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cool thing. I actually like that boss fight, and then just watching it, I'm like, "Oh, that's fucking
There's
sweet."
a
They do
lot
some
of
cinematic
amazing-
shit in here.
Boss fights. I've almost debated making you play some of these games, but I also don't know how if you're going to enjoy them or not.
I tried the first one. The first one was fun. It's a lot because there's not a lot of direction.
Yes.
So like it is, and you really have to dive in. It's just like every game that has like the open world aspect. It's
Yeah.
a little too much sometimes where you're like, I just don't want to get overwhelmed right now. I'd rather be told what to do.
Yeah. That's where I think like some other games like Lies of P and stuff do that a little bit better, where they
Yeah.
don't
Have a
hold
more
your hand.
directional.
Like it's still very difficult, but it's more linear.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier to find everything. Like there's not a lot more like hidden areas as in Dark Souls.
Well, that was it, guys. Those were our
Yeah.
moments.
So yes, tell us what your favorite gaming moments are, or
yeah,
your
or
favorite
your least favorite character
characters.
is Joel. If you say that, I will like you.
Tell us if we're wrong. I want to hear your outburst if we offended you with your. So trust me, I'm a huge Last of Us fan. Don't get me wrong. I've got a fuck ton of Last of Us shit.
Yeah.
Like I
But
love it
this
so
is the
much.
problem I have with gamers a lot is they're just gonna like scream at us about like you're a fucking idiot for having an opinion outside the popular belief that I have chosen to have. Like it's
It's
a
either that
fucking
or,
fact or something.
You're entitled to your opinion. It's wrong, but you're
Yeah,
entitled to it.
Yeah, it's I mean, sometimes that is the case. That is the case. I will say
Yes.
that, and it's very few times, and it always has to do with something disgusting. So
That's fair. But I mean, no, like especially in regards to this, like I know these are hot takes. We say these
Yeah.
are hot takes
Yep.
for a reason. We know they're going to be a little controversial,
they're
and
hot tamale.
you can ask Scott. Like I was greatly offended the first times, especially
My
on our
God,
first
it was so
episode we even
funny.
did at The Last of Us, where we talked about how much he hated
so
Joel. Like,
fucking funny. He was so
it
mad
hurt my
at me.
feelings a little bit. It did. I was
He
like,
liked this
oh, he's gonna
character
love this
way-
character as
he
much
had
as
like
I
a
do.
weird man crush on this guy. It was so weird. I'm
And then
sitting
he just
there
shot
like,
me down.
And I'm like, you just like being in an abusive relationship, apparently. That's all you like.
I was in a lot of those.
Yeah, there you go. It's easy to tell now.
And, now that I'm out of a lot of those things, I see a lot more things that are
Now
problematic
you see
about
why
some
you
of
like
these.
Joel.
And I'm like, okay. Okay, yep. I was wrong.
I like men who beat me. It's fine.
He did it for the right reasons. Did it for love.
No, you don't understand. I made him mad.
It
All right,
hurts because it's
guys.
true, and I fell hard.
Well, that was the episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, seriously, email us, comment, soulofaGamerPodcast@gmail.com. We're on all the platforms, everything you can think of. We are on there. Throw some comments down, like the videos, do whatever, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Later.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.